Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are, whenever you tune into this. And welcome to another special edition of Debates Never Die. Why is it special? It's special because we have a special guest to my left. But before we get to him, let me introduce the regulars on the podcast. I'm your host, Malcom, aka Sheiks. People ask me, how are you doing? I say, I'm so up. I could never be down, man. Oaks, God, that was phenomenal. That was phenomenal. You can see my hosts, they don't club good comedy, clearly, because they're hating on that bar. That was a pun. Starting at the far right, we have Khanya LLM. Sir, I know how you're doing, but just let the people into your mind right now as an Arsenal fan.
Oaks, Freed from Desire has been playing in my head for the past 2 weeks. It's non-stop. It's all I can hear. It's all I can hear. All I can see is us lifting. I don't know. If I hadn't told you before, I'm here to tell you again. Oaks, it's coming home.
Yo.
If you didn't believe in that first episode, I'm here to tell you. We're here, Oaks.
Freed from Desire. That's the 2022 World Cup song, eh?
It's no. It's the song that plays at the end of at Wembley.
Okay, I know that's a banger.
No, it's been non-stop.
What's the bodies on fire?
That's the one. It's the same tune. It's all those things.
No, phenomenal.
Yeah.
Of course. And to the right of him, we have the guy who supports the two teams with the best teenagers in world football. Mvu, how are you doing, my guy?
Happiness. Fine boy, no stress. Now we live.
We're live. And the special guest I mentioned, a good friend of a lot of us here. I've known the guy since I was 7. Some of you know him as a lethal number 9. Some of you know him as the guy who allegedly gets into fights on the pitch. Some of you know him as the owner of XP Arena. I know him as the biggest Newcastle fan in South Africa, Alex Stothard. Actually, can you give him a round of applause, guys?
Welcome to the pod.
Welcome, sir. How are you doing?
Good, bro. I'm glad to be here. I've been waiting for ages to get this call up. I was messaging Tabani, I was messaging you. I said, when am I getting a call up? You need some diversity. You need first of all, because I'm white.
First white guy.
Second of all, because you need a club that's not in the top 6.
I hear you.
The big 6.
But to be fair, you guys are, because you're the 4th most supported team in England. I'm not mistaken.
But bro, it doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
The big 6.
Remember they
the
told
big
us.
6 cartel. we struggle because of the big 6 cartel.
Boy,
and one of them's getting relegated.
And that's the funny thing.
Remember they told us Leicester took our place. Remember?
They were famous. They were ready to erase us.
They were ready to kill us. It is insane. Anyways, guys, we have a very special episode for you guys. We're going to start off with our special guest because I think he has one of the most interesting journeys in football. Again, I've known him for a long time. Your dad was actually my first coach, under 7 at Santon FC.
I remember there at George Lee Park.
At George Lee Park. Martin, he was the first coach to teach me that shouting is not always bad. Shouting can actually be how people communicate with you.
My dad is a hectic coach. He's the only coach I've ever been scared of in my entire life.
So I really want to just hear your story. To just give a brief synopsis, we played. So the journey that I'm aware of, and you just correct me when I'm wrong when you tune in here, chime in here. Started off at Santon FC. Stuff happened. Then we had Alex Balfour together, me, you, Tabani, all-star team as far as I'm concerned. After that, Black Aces, you guys lived Supersport first.
No, I never went to Aces.
What do you mean?
I've never played for Aces. I've never played for Black Aces, bro.
Am I being gaslit?
No, I've never played for Black Aces.
Tabani, really? No, you weren't there with us?
No.
Dude, you know,
I even sent you a message saying I've never played for Black Aces.
Why did I think you had Aces with us?
I don't know, bro, because that was like where the white guys were.
That's true.
Because I was there. Alex
no, you know what it is? It's because you guys, they left me, eh? You guys, people don't know the story. So we under 15 was the last time we all at Balfour together.
Yeah.
And we played you're right. We played Supersport in that end of season game. Yeah. They clocked us 4-0. Yo, that was the first time I learned what layers were on a football pitch. Yeah, they lay off, you're cooked. And the following year, everyone leaves me. So I come to first session of training, and it's me and Nkule Lego, the one guy. He's gone.
Oh, I remember that guy.
Yeah, he's gone. Tabani's gone. So I'm like, Oaks, I said, where are we?
What am I doing?
What's going on? Yeah, so you Oaks left me. And so let's start from there. Super Sports, what was that like? Where did you go? Where did your career take you?
So when I was at Balfour, And that was a fire all-star team. Me, you, Martin, Alessandro Venditti. I mean, that was a player. That was a prop. Of course, Tabani, don't worry. I'm getting there. I'm going by the positions. And I was when I was in grade 9, I was still at K's at the time, and then I knew that I needed to go somewhere in my career. So I said, okay, well, what's the next steps? My brother was now working I think he was actually playing at Tuks at the time. And then their under-14 coach, Evangelios Velios, who's now the assistant head coach of Stellenbosch Football Club, he wanted me at under-14s at Tuks. So I said, okay, cool, I'm going there. Not even a week later, Rolani Mkwena called, said he must go to Sundowns. He was the under-13, under-14 coach at Sundowns. So I said, okay, it's cool. So I went all the way to where did they train? I think it was Clapham, or all the way to that side of Pretoria. I went, myself and Alessandro both went. And then after day 1, they said, we want you. So I said, okay, cool. We're going to Sundowns. So I went from Tuks. I was like, okay, cool. I'm not going to Tuks. I'm going to Sundowns because it's Sundowns.
Yeah.
Then logistically, we'd need to go to the school there. You have to school there, you have to go to basically live in a proper academy system there.
And you don't want to live in Clapham.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't want to go to Clapham.
No, you don't. So now for me, I said, okay, cool. But now I was going. I said, I'm going to Sundowns. I said to my dad, I said, whatever we have to do, I'm going to go to Sundowns, whatever plans we have to make. Fast forward maybe 2 weeks later, I was still at Balfour. And then George Patricio, the chairman of Balfour at the time, there was a feeder system between Balfour and Supersport United. Yes. And the agreement was that all registered Balfour players are technically registered with Supersport United. So they get first right of all of the players.
Did not know this.
And now...
I had no idea.
Now, I went, then Supersport came calling and they said, okay, come to TUT, that's where we were training, and the coach was Ricardo Katsa, who was a former Bafana player. He said, my boy, come and play this game against School of Excellence. And I said, okay, I'm going to play. It was with the under-15s. And I'll never forget, it was one of the best games I've ever played. I scored like a hat-trick.
Oh, wow.
And I walked off the field, but you see, you're talking about my dad. My dad shouted at me after the game. He said, why didn't you pass the ball? I was in my dad, I just scored a hat-trick.
No, bro, your dad is he's a different level.
He's a different
level.
Guy, bro.
Yeah.
So anyway, Ricardo said to me, I want you there. And then I was spent probably until I was like 14, all the way until I was about 19 at Supersport United. When I was 17, I got a call to go play for Falkirk in the UK and Scotland.
Yes, I remember.
And then it was a whole big mess up because you need a thing called an ITC, which is called an international training clearance. It's basically it's a document from SAFA that declares you that you don't have any suspensions, you don't have any fines, you don't have anything like that.
Yeah.
And it was fortuitous when I went to Falkirk because I was under the impression I was going there to trial with the academy.
Yes.
There was a miscommunication. I ended up trialing with the first team.
Wow.
So now I step into they've got a little stadium that you train, and I step in.
I remember that video. You're taking free kicks.
And I'm still thinking to myself, I'm like, what am I doing here? Because now some guy comes and speaks to me in a thick Scottish accent, and I remember the coach, and I remember thinking, what did you just say to me? He's like, and I was like, okay, cool. This is what we're doing now. And I'll never forget when I realized the standard of football was miles ahead of what I was used to. I mean, just from the first passing drill, when that ball zipped into me, it went straight under my foot.
Yeah.
But it was just so, every time you pass a ball and you hit,
yes.
Every single pass.
The thump. Yeah.
And first touches are there. I mean, you know me. Anyone who knows me, I'm not a very skillful player.
Right.
But there, I was the most skilled. They looked at me like I was Neymar. I did one step over and everyone was like, what's going on
the
here?
differences, and that's what I want to talk about. Yeah.
But they are so technically gifted.
Yeah.
Anyway, long story short, I played there for about, I think it was about 6 months. And then Coach Kopo said that I can come back to Supersport. Came back to Supersport, and then, by this time, guys, when I came back to South Africa, I was thinking, the standard was here.
Yeah.
I'm going in car rides with Lee Miller, who's a former Scottish international player, played for Middlesbrough in the Premier League, playing with him. And then now I've come back, and now I'm sitting on the bench for the under 19s. And I'm like, guys, I've just been in a first team setup. Now, you told me you want me back at Supersport, and then nothing ever comes
Follow
of
through
it.
is not there.
Nothing ever comes of it. Then I went to Tux.
Yes.
I semi-retired. I said, you know what, I'd rather I'd make more money outside of football in South Africa than I would inside football. And I said, okay, let me go. My brother got the first team varsity cup job at Tux, and he said, come and play for my varsity team. So I said, cool. Went and played varsity cup. And then I did have a small stint at Kaizer Chiefs for a bit because one of my friends is friends with Jessica Matong, and she said that I can go play with the DDC, or back then it was called the MDC side. And by that time I was over it, guys. I can't explain to you when you've been training every single day, when you've lost that spark, you've lost
I related,
it.
yeah. I related to that.
And then while I was playing at Tux, I started building XP Arena, and it sounds bad, but after a week, I realized I can make more money doing business side of football than I can actually playing football.
Explain to them what XP Arena is.
So,
just so they have an idea.
So XP Arena is a five-a-side football hub in Magaliesburg Fourways. We opened in 2022. We've been operating now for about 4 years. We've got 2 fields. We wanted to create a community within. It's a football hub. So everything you come in there, everything's football related. You'll never catch cricket on my TVs or rugby. Guys ask me, can we put the rugby? I said, no, it's football place. You watch football stuff,
yeah.
And you know, we've got leagues every single night. We're now in the process of trying to start a semi-professional five-a-side league, because I think there is a gap for it. There is other things like squad league that I'm very close with. However, there's only 2 winners per year, and you know, with Orlando Pirates Fives, there's basically only one winner.
Yeah, they're so good.
So we're trying to bridge that gap and maybe have a 10-man league where the winners win money, the league phase winners win money, and then you have like a top 8 that compete for the remainder of the prize fund. All of our games are live streamed. You've got an XP Arena app that we currently in the final phases of putting onto the App Store. We track stats, we track everything. We're trying to just give the ordinary person a feel of what it's like to be a professional.
Right,
if you get what I'm saying.
Yes, yeah.
Like just get the football some legitimacy.
Yes. So we're still in the building phases. I mean, we're currently in. I'll give you a little secret that we are in the process of building another 2 fields, and one of those fields will have a 900-seater stadium around it. Oh, nice. Again, just to add to that professionalism, let the guy. James from Fourways, who's never kicked a ball, but let him experience what it's like to be a professional player, even if it is for that 40 minutes.
40 minutes.
Yeah.
And look, there's so much you said that I want to touch on, but I think the biggest thing that resonates with me is the contrast between football abroad and football in SA. And like with my experience, obviously, NCAA D1 and playing in Spain for 6 months as well, it's weird because if you ask me who's more naturally talented, I'll probably say South Africans. But it's like we just emphasize, I don't want to say the wrong things as if there's only one way to play football, because there isn't. But I don't think it's ever acceptable to have players who can't ping a ball.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's what you find in SA, where you'll find a player who is just unbelievably talented. Like I always talk about the first time I saw Pakamani Matlambi play. It was actually, Tabani was with me there. Aces were playing Wits, and you know, in those reserve leagues, when you're playing like the whole club plays. So it starts with under 12, 13s and goes up. So I wasn't selected for the match day squad, so I was just helping the guys warm up. And we played the game. I don't think we won, but then we went over to the next field where Nana Corso was there. Aces had a good team, right? I think Jason was at Super Sport at that point.
Yeah, Jason was with us.
There was someone else. There was another white kid. There was a baller. Some really, really good players. And Pakamani was making his debut for Wits. I think it was his debut because I think it was like one of the first games of the season. And you know, you kick off, goes back to the keeper kicks it long. Kicks it long. Boy, you just chest completely just dribbled through, got a shot on target. I remember Nana looking at the bench, at like the coach on the bench saying, like, what the hell is this? What is this, bro? And then you look at players like I don't know Pakamani's story, but you look at players in SA like that. They've never had formal training. It's just a natural talent. But my issue is when you now get to the point where you're in a club setup, I don't think they do enough to maximize. So Mvu, you've also played academy. What do you think it is that we need as a country to prioritize when you look at your time in Scotland or anywhere else? Because we're more talented, but we don't seem to have the fundamentals drilled into us.
I think aside from the skills that you develop and all those basics, a lot of it is also down to funding.
Fair.
Because I think when you think about it, like even when you played, I don't know, in South Africa, a lot of the people that play in academy footballs, they're not from affluent homes or backgrounds, right? Just think about something as basic as diets.
Yeah.
I used to see gents rock up 4 to 6 slices of bread, train, right? And like that's not their fault. That's just
That's what you have.
Right?
That's what you have. Yeah.
And
yeah.
clubs don't do enough to support on that front. Where
That's a really good
feed
point.
your players, give them the right nutrition, gym, all of those things. Because I think where you guys spoke about talent and just where there's a big gap is like, because even when you look at the under 16s, 15s, that go play abroad,
Yes,
like,
they
do
ball.
well.
They ball out.
They
Yeah.
do well. I think Tariq's brother was with Stellenbosch when they went to the UK. I don't know how many years ago. They won. Even the Amajimbos, and like they go and they play, they compete. So it's clearly not a talent issue. But then there's something that happens between 16
To 20, pro now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's just solved by let's get the basics right. It's just like,
I think it's infrastructural.
Yeah.
Honestly, like I think something that I've noticed is the fact that you guys have all played outside of our Newcastle fan here. No one else works in football.
Yeah.
I feel like what happens a lot from people I've
Very
spoken
rare in
to
that sense, yeah.
who've worked in football, who've gotten coaching badges. Like I don't know if you know Sledge, right?
Yes.
Sledge has coaching badges. He's got a UEFA license. He doesn't work in football right now. I feel like South Africa's done not the best job at properly incubating the people in our country who want to try and take football as seriously as possible.
Yeah.
You either end up making it far enough that you get a job, you're well known enough that people know they can refer to you. Whereas here, if you played academy football, if you played to a certain level, if you start doing certain things, if you don't end up high enough, you kind of vanish. You end up elsewhere.
and just to add to that, I don't know if you guys had these issues with any of your coaches, but the most qualified coaches that have these badges and stuff, they never really got the best jobs.
Yeah. Your bro. I was
look
going
at
to
my
ask about your brother.
brother.
How did your because he has a UEFA license as well?
My
Yeah.
brother's got the highest UEFA license.
Yeah, UEFA A. I remember seeing this. Yeah.
But he can't. The thing is with South African football, and it comes all down to SAFA.
Yeah.
I mean,
Danny Jordan.
the reality is, and I don't know if you guys are aware of this. So SAFA have their own coaching licenses. But now what UEFA started doing is that UEFA started doing the UEFA C license, which is like your base tier coaching license. They were doing it in South Africa. They were doing it at Tuks.
Oh, okay.
And then SAFA caught wind of this, and SAFA is not making anything from it. So SAFA, like, you're not allowed to do it in South Africa anymore. So now they just do it in Namibia. So the Oaks just get in the car and they go to Namibia. But the clubs in South Africa, again, they don't look at a UEFA A license the same way they would look at a CAF B license. They think they'll be like a CAF B is better.
I see.
Because they'll think that they understand African football better.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we also need to emulate. We need to not copy, but we need to emulate something similar to what Europe is doing, because Europe has done it right for 40, 50 years.
I
Their
agree.
league systems are continuously good. And whereas here, I mean, there's some poor coaches out there in South Africa, guys.
Amen.
Guys.
And you know that's something. Look, I hope I'm wearing neutral clothes today because the comment section was saying if you wear European shirts, you can't speak on South African. So now I'm talking about South African. I'm in neutral clothes. The thing that I agree with there, Alex, is there does need to be an element of emulating, right? Because I'm not saying we need to be European, but we need to look at the systems that work and pick the pieces that we need.
100%.
I talk about this all the time, right? And then we can just jump on this whole buying licenses thing. Yo, guys, to the death of me, I will never understand this. Like to think, I always have this conversation with my boys. We don't have a professional football team in Johannesburg. We have some in Soweto, Chiefs, who's Wits, Aces,
is gone.
Highlands, gone. And it doesn't make sense. And we were at, me and Tavani and the guys, we were at Aces when this happened. Imagine one day you come to training, coaches,
It's all over.
We're going to Cape Town.
Dude, and like, legit, I don't even understand. It was crazy because we go train because Aces in under 19, there was an extra slot in the league, so they made a second team. So I went from the team that was with like Alessandro and them, and I went over to the second team for more game time, more minutes. And we pull up to training, and then Coach Nick is there chopping. He's chatting to us. Field lights go off. He says, "Yeah, guys, we got sold." I say, what? And you know, it's just, so for me, something like that shouldn't exist. It doesn't exist in Europe. And not to say therefore it shouldn't exist here, but if we're going to deviate from what they're doing, there needs to be logical foundation. We've lost some of our most culturally integrated clubs. Wits was a university team, which is Bloem Celtic had the most die-hard fans you could imagine. You
Morocco
know?
Swallows. You can
Swallows,
go Morocco
bro.
Swallows, Supersport United most
Supersport's
recently.
gone.
It's the thing is like how are you building a foundation? I mean, look at the Premier League, look at La Liga, all of these clubs are 100 years old.
Yeah. No, the heritage clubs.
Yeah,
There's a
heritage
proper, like, established base. And again, when players vanish, they're still in the football ecosystem.
Yes.
That's exactly, bro. I look at the PSL now. Half of those clubs, I don't even know their names. I don't know who these clubs are.
And they'll roast me in the comments, boy. There's
Sekukune.
Hey, yo, guys. Yo, no, look. We could go on and on. I just don't want us to stay on this for too long. So let's go to Europe.
Just before that, but with that being said, you know, the league has been improving. Like
it has.
I think it's just about continuing with the momentum.
Yes.
Just continue. Something is working. Do better.
That's
And get
100%.
Khanya out.
100%.
Like, he needs to
You see how
buy.
political I was
He
when I
needs to
spoke
buy.
about it.
You know what, Danny Jordan, there's another guy above him that we need to get out. But I feel like that's it's above this podcast carrying the pig.
Yeah, no, we don't have enough
but,
legal.
but there's a guy though.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Watch PS. If I'm sure you guys watch, but watch it. It's actually entertaining.
It is.
There's not a lot of goals. That's
Yeah,
one thing.
yeah.
So if you're gonna bet and put plus 1.5, you're gonna lose your money. But it's very interesting watching because it's good football.
Yeah.
There is some tactics behind it. You can see some good coaching, especially from the bigger clubs and even the smaller clubs. I love watching Stellenbosch football.
Yes,
Yeah,
yeah.
no,
they play
And
good
I
football.
enjoy Richards Bay. I watched a few of
Yes.
their games. Yeah.
So if we can start building around these clubs, and yes, we got the Sundowns, the Chiefs, the Pirates, that's fine. But these other clubs need to make the league. Otherwise, you're going to end up like a Scottish Premier League.
Yeah.
Through the-
And then
We
Aberdeen
also
will
need
come
to
once
make
every 10
rules
years.
that like Sundowns can't sign every best.
Yeah.
These structures need to be in place for the
agree.
quality of the league to
100%.
survive.
But with that being said, I'm happy that Sundowns did what they did, have done what they've done for the past 9 years. Because I think them monopolizing the league forced Chiefs, Pirates, and all the other big dogs to say, okay, we need to do something. Because if it was Chiefs or Pirates in the position of Sundowns, then we end up like the Scottish Premier League. But I think
100%.
because, you know, and obviously Patrice Motsepe is just unbelievably efficient in all the operations he runs. So, you know, and he's financially, they're just in a different sphere to the rest of the league. So I'm not saying it's replicable, but what I love about what he's shown the league is if you run this like a business and you run this efficiently, you will see the changes come. Because we all saw, we were all playing when that shift happened because Supersport were the guys.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, you know,
Pirates first before.
okay, not
And then Sundowns came.
but yeah, no, it's
letting you know.
to your point, like things are growing. I think the issue is just the rate at which things grow. But yeah, sorry to just jump over now.
Back to Europe.
Back to Europe. Don't get too active at us in the comments. Mvu, you had something to say about, look guys, it's Sunday, March 15. Newcastle won yesterday, Arsenal won yesterday. We don't care about anyone else.
Yeah, we're happy.
That's what we're talking about this episode. Mvu,
Let me put the Pradas back on. You know.
you had something to say about the teenage sensation.
Let me call someone. Hopefully he picks up now. I hope he answers.
Whilst he does that, Khanya, okay.
No.
If he,
Let's see.
Let's see.
He said he would answer. If he doesn't, then I'll just speak. But
first time ever on D&D, brother.
yeah, no. Talk to the people.
Show the camera.
Where's the camera? Please zoom in if you can. Please talk about Max Talman.
Toby.
You see, we all here.
We've been waiting for you,
Yes.
son.
Walking in the
We've been waiting for you, son. Let's hear you. Max Dalman,
Put it by your
16-year-old
mic. Put it by your
sensation.
mic. That's man like T, boy.
Look at he's walking past Highbury.
Oh, in
Did you
front of
see?
Highbury.
He's walking past Highbury. Why are you walking faster? I hope the camera can get that. Do you have something to say? All right, cool.
Love.
Oh, stay on that side, bro. Stay on that side. Stay on that side.
This guy. In any case,
No,
that was
sensational.
Yeah.
Sensational.
Yeah.
I advocate for youth. Like when a player is just that talented, play him, bro.
Yeah.
play him, and it's something I've been calling for from the beginning. I don't know. Was it? I think there was a preseason game when we were playing in Malaysia, or
there's Malaysia tour played against Bilbao as well.
That's when I saw him like
For real.
and I was like, nah,
This kid's ready.
no, yeah.
How old is he?
16.
In 73 days.
And I think
At
at
73 days.
74 now. Yeah.
in
what,
that
is
game
the
was
youngest?
15.
Youngest goal scorer in Premier League
Yeah.
history. Yeah.
You would be happy to know he took Cesk's
Record.
Yeah, I know you guys don't like him.
Guys,
Look,
I really like.
didn't dislike
I
Cesc
love
the way
Cesc,
most
I won't
Arsenal
lie.
fans dislike Cesc right now.
Yeah. Like I
but-
know the whole way he went to Barcelona was snacks, but like the way he held us for 5 years, he carried us on his back because when you really think about the way Henry left, right? I don't know if you've heard. I'm sure you've heard Van Persie talk about it when Henry like took him aside and said, "Robin, you're the guy now,"
Yeah.
and then he ended up getting injured every year. So the real guy was some 17-year-old who was replacing Vieira, and he said, "Get on top," and he carried us. Milan, that goal lives long in the memory. So look, I understand the joy. We should be joyful, unbelievable. But let's respect Cesc Fabregas. In any case, Khanya, we watched the game together. I don't want to position this. I won't lie. Euphoric. Victor Gyökeres. Let's start there. When you look at his inevitable, impact on this squad, does that goal in a few ways, I don't want to say justify the signing, but does it give more credence to him as a player in the context, Alex is looking at me, of the squad?
No ways, bro.
When Arsenal played Everton at the Hill Dickinson Stadium, Arsenal won 1-0. The goal scorer is Victor Gyökeres. It was 0-0 until Victor Gyökeres came on when Arsenal won 2-0 at the Emirates.
And Saka said, "Boy, let me let you hold something." Yeah. Like he needed
that was the
pen.
pen,
So
man.
let's also not position it like he just won us this game.
No, but he scored the goal.
The next big thing.
He scored the goal.
Yuck.
Look at the start of the season, we had the discussion about how good he was likely to be, what we expected, what was reasonable, and you highlighted that Arsenal should aim for higher than Gyökeres, right?
Yes.
You should aim for a better striker. The reality is, with the way we play, with the way the league is structured right now, we've got Haaland who's not doing that much, who scores all these goals, right? It's great to have players like that.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, Gyökeres has had an impact. I said 15 goals.
yeah.
He's got he's 4 goals away from that tally.
But we said that is too low. That's all. So
If we
Is that
let me finish.
11 all
No, in the Premier
all
League.
com, only Prem.
No,
in the
because
Premier
I
League.
think he's what, 16 all comps now?
Yeah.
16 all comps. Not a horrible season.
to give you context, he said we were just discussing signings and what's a success, and he said Victor Gyökeres basically like he expects him to get 15 and that would be a success.
Yes.
You don't sign a 60 million striker that
Yeah.
scored 60 goals previously and
Fair.
then say your expectation is 15 goals.
But
That was the only thing that we were saying. Like,
but do
it
you know-
can't be that. It should be 20 minimum.
I just think it's relative, right? Like when you know that he wasn't Arsenal's outright first choice signing, like you know the context around what the market's like in general. The fact that we were signing so many players, we couldn't have signed the 85 million striker and also signed all the other players that we were going to sign. He's not a perfect player, but in terms of what we needed at the time, he was as good as it was going to get at that price. And what I said in the group above anything else before that episode, at least it wasn't Jonathan David. Mvu, we must be grateful for what we have. It could be worse.
Look, I as much as I dislike him, I won't pretend like there hasn't been impact, but I just think it's not good enough.
Can I
That's all.
before we go to Alex?
Look, I hope in 2 years' time he's gone, but hopefully he'll leave as a Premier League winner.
The thing is, especially with the strikers in the Premier League, is that, and you know who ruined it for us, was Haaland. Because now everyone is expecting the striker, as soon as they come in, to bang in 20, 30 goals a season. Because Haaland hit the ground running from the moment he entered the league. But even if you look at Isak last season for us, Isak, the year before, he was a decent player, but he was pulling stats the same as that. And then it came into his second season, and then we conned Liverpool to pay us 150 million for that
This
guy.
is the most.
Did you feel that you conned them when it happened?
I love this. He told me this theory.
100%.
Yeah, I love this theory.
When I knew that this guy was going, Newcastle said, okay, cool, we want 150, and Liverpool were like, okay, cool, we'll pay it. Now Newcastle were like, okay, 150 bar for someone who's one season he scored 22 goals, and I know for a fact as a Newcastle fan watching him he gets injured every 3 or 4 weeks. He's got a hamstring that just shatters all the time. Or no, it's a hamstring or a groin, something. Look, he broke his leg. You can't.
Yeah.
But the thing is, he always has these niggles. Like he always gets injured. And I'm thinking to myself, now you're paying 150 million for 150 million for Haaland. I'm thinking, okay, cool, that's good money, that's real. But the man had one good season.
And when he put it that way, because he's the only Newcastle fan, granted you only know 3, but he's the only Newcastle fan that I've even seen online who had that argument. And it makes sense. Like, it was a great season, but it's only one season. And it wasn't even sustained in the sense of his availability. It was a really good point in terms of, you know, I mean, obviously we know now because of how poorly he's performed, but Newcastle actually got what they wanted from it.
But do you know who I thank for this? It was the Arsenal fans. Because the Arsenal fans, we want Isak. And I feel like the other clubs obviously look at this sort of stuff and they think, I mean, no one thought Liverpool were going to come for him in the summer.
Yeah, that was a shock.
Especially after signing Ekitike.
Yeah.
Because we went in for Ekitike, then the man was on his way to us and then Liverpool said, no, we'll take him. And then I thought, okay, well, it's over. Now they're spending another 150 million for Isak. And I'm like, what's going on at this club, at Liverpool?
Silly standing. No, look, and I think, that's a great way to contextualize strikers. And
maybe if I can, to add. I think the biggest thing, and I completely agree, Haaland ruined it for strikers, but I watch football with my eyes before I look at
which is where I was going to go.
And you see, and when I watch Gyökeres, I don't see a good footballer.
Mvu, can I tell you something?
You can be a great goal scorer but not be a great footballer.
Can I tell you something?
But you can be better than what he is.
Can I tell you something, Mvu? You need to embrace anti-football. You need to. The problem is, you know what the problem is, bro? The two contexts you have as a football fan, and you're in a European context. Prime Barca and Wenger Arsenal.
Yeah,
you saw the most
beautiful.
You've seen the most well-rounded strikers play for you.
Most well-rounded strikers, bro. Anti-football, and this is why I remember like a big point of contention between you and I was Mikel Merino, and I had to clarify. I said, Mvu, I know he's not the midfielder, but it's anti-football. One thing that I learned from the decline of Pep's original style of football. So think end of Barca into Bayern Munich early days. To have purists all over the pitch. You can't be taking off Iniesta and putting on Thiago Alcantara. You can't. Because it's a continuation of the same thing. A team just has to defend you the same way. Yeah. Mikel Merino, liar. Gyökeres.
You need players to give you other options.
Liar. They're liars. And that's absolutely what I love. Now, that's not to say that we should... And let me look at it from this perspective when it comes to Victor Gyökeres. The price tag is disappointing. If we got this guy for 40 million, different conversations I had.
Yeah,
I'll acknowledge that entirely. And the second and the most important thing, we do need that second striker who is more well-rounded, right? Because I think his true power is in his ability to offer something completely different, right?
Yeah, I agree.
So for me, when I started to appreciate him, as was the case with Havertz, although he's really cleaned up in how he performs, he's a lot technically cleaner. Just going from Gabby Jesus, which we all Arsenal fans talk about 22, 23, like it was...
but that first 6 months changed lives.
No, the first 6 months.
Changed
lives. Dude, like it was just the greatest... And it was. The football was beautiful. But we still lost games, right? That game against Bournemouth, the 3-3 or the... I think Southampton... it's even a blur.
The Southampton 3-3.
And then Bournemouth beat us...
No, we beat Bournemouth 4-3.
Oh, okay. That was it. Yeah. No, when...
The 3-3 was my first game at
the Emirates.
I was sure.
We have to have a conversation about us both being bad luck. But when I looked at those games and I watched them back, and I'm like, we played perfectly and we still lost. I think if you throw on the guys who like Mikel or Merino or Gyökeres, and we're going to go to Newcastle now, I looked at someone like Joelinton and the way he revitalized that midfield. Because what is he? What the hell is that, dude? He's genuinely
thug. The thing is like, and I had an argument with my Man United fans about this, and they come to me and they're like, "Yeah, you just got that thug in the midfield. You got that thug in the midfield." And I'm thinking to myself, there's one player you've worshipped for 30 years, Roy Keane, who's one of the biggest thugs ever. So everyone hates Joelinton, that's fine. But I love him because he breaks the play for us.
He breaks the play. And he's
a baller as well.
On the ball, he's
a baller.
Competent on the ball. And he's gonna take when you get those anti-football, it's a tough, rough term, but those guys,
anti-football,
those guys who
let's have some respect for the lads.
Those guys who aren't the
let's
most.
Have some respect for the lads.
Just see what happened.
Yeah,
we're worried about too much. Go.
Those guys who don't fit the mold of the perfect squad, they will take the assignments no one else wants to take. You say Merino, play up top and press. Yes, coach. You know what I'm saying? You say Joelinton, I want you to mark their 10. Forget about your stats. Mark the 10. Yes, coach. The Park Ji-sungs, those types of players. You need them. You talk to Fergie. I'm saying it like he's my boy. Sir Alex Ferguson.
You're gonna ring him up now, bro.
like that's my G. That's my dog, dude. Like I've known him my whole life. You talk to Sir Alex Ferguson in 2026. You say, what is the one thing you would change in your career? I would have played Park Ji-sung in the 2011 Champions League final. Wouldn't have changed anything, but it's the understanding that I can't go against Barca and have Carrick and Scholes against Busquets. So I understand the frustrations with Rockers. I'm not saying I'm blind to them. What I'm saying is, given what Mikel has built, it really doesn't matter. Because so long as he gives me that, and there's 2 more this season. There's 2 more goals coming. They may be the most disgusting goals you've seen in your life, but there are 2 more goals coming that I think are going to be, significant for us moving forward. So look, the league we're in a good position. 9 points clear. City have a game in hand. That game at the Etihad.
It's you, isn't it?
No, it's against
No, it's
someone
against
else.
someone else.
Yeah, someone else.
So it could drop.
I think
to
Palace.
6.
I think Palace.
I don't know who it is, but I like working with worst case scenarios. It's 6 points.
6 points. And then we say hypothetically we were to lose that game at the Etihad. It's 3 points.
We cannot lose that.
We
game
cannot,
at
but hypothetically, I just like there being that cushion.
Ain't no hypothetical. We cannot lose that game at the Etihad.
Things are looking good at the top of the table. Khanya, we spoke about you being 4 for 4 with your. Do you want to let them know just quickly before?
Just in case you guys forgot, I did tell you guys that City's defense was lies. Don't know why you guys thought that was fine.
Number 1.
It's cool. Told you just so we don't get confused next season. You can't rebuild the squad in one window and then think you'll win the Premier League. That thing Liverpool did where you have 6 new players. Let's be realistic. And Chelsea, Oaks, please. Let's be honest about what the hell we're talking about when we're trying to analyze certain teams. And lastly, Arsenal lifting.
And right now he's looking like he's 4 for 4. Let's not get too excited, but you spoke about Chelsea. They're calling Liam Rosner Barack Obama. I don't know if you guys have been seeing the edits.
No, but I get it, bro. That guy's a philosopher. Have you heard that man speak?
The managers
respecting the ball yesterday. I saw that. I was like,
boy, they said
they're in a bad place.
There's some quotes. He said, managing your aging men. Yeah. And my favorite was the one from yesterday. He said, I showed the lads at the table since I've come in. We're third. I said we're third. Things are good. Anyways, Alex, your boy is absolutely. From what I heard, I'll be honest, I didn't watch the game. I was watching Arsenal, but from what you've told me, it was the performance. It's the performance that highlighted the best of Newcastle since Eddie Howe's coming.
I think it's not the best game we've played. I think arguably the best game we actually played this season was against Barcelona in the group stages of the Champions League, where Rashford absolutely murdered us.
Yeah.
But it was Rashford always does that to us.
Against you guys, yeah.
Especially even when he was at Man United, he just loves scoring against Newcastle. He ran riot that game. But the way we play, so Newcastle's identity, the way we play is, and it's been like this for 4 years since Eddie Howe's been there, is we do not stop running until the final whistle is blown. It's similar to that Atletico Madrid sort of philosophy, where you get stuck.
They're just battling for every ball.
They battle for everything. It's not the prettiest of football. And even if you look at the stats against Chelsea yesterday, I think they had like 63% of the ball possession. But I'm trying to think once when I actually felt nervous in the game that I was like, oh, Chelsea's going to score here, they're going to equalize. Once we went 1-0 up, it was like the Spurs game. Once I was 1-0 up, I was like, oh, this game's done.
We're done.
And Newcastle's been notorious this whole season for letting leads slip. But yesterday against Chelsea, I was like, not worried. Against Spurs, not worried. And again, it's because of those, like you said, we've got like these players who
just really good at making games difficult.
100%.
Yeah.
Perfect.
I mean, our midfield is, I don't know how we're so lucky to have such a good midfield. Okay. Yes, Bruno's been out, and that's the craziest thing is Bruno still needs to come back in. I'm hoping he'll be back in for the Barca game on Wednesday. It doesn't look likely, but it looks like he'll be back for the Tyneside derby on Saturday, which is a massive game.
That's a huge game.
Look, I'm happy. We've had a very dismal season. We have, and that just kind of goes on that we haven't been able to, our squad depth. We were discussing this earlier. We do have a lot of players, but we don't have a depth similar to like a City or similar to an Arsenal. Even you guys are bringing on 16-year-old players who are balling. I mean, we're bringing on Joe Willock.
Yes.
I know he's your boy. We're bringing on Joe Willock, bro. Okay, he got an assist yesterday. The boy got an assist, but it was again. who does Chelsea think they are playing such a high line against us?
I see. So they were really trying to pin you guys back.
They were trying to.
They were so open for that goal.
Oh, is it?
It wasn't the first. We had like 3 or 4 just straight through the middle. Straight, boom, and then.
Crazy. You think the world-class CDM Caicedo will stop some of that?
We need to talk
They
about
call
that.
him the shin kicker.
The shin kick. On the topic of world class, I think Lewis Hall, I was saying in pre-production, I think he's the best left back in the league. And I know it may be a thing where the crowning comes before, it may be a bit preemptive, but I'm just looking at what he does. Me and Alex were talking about that game against Barca, right? Where I know this will feed into Tabani and Rendai's point, but Yamal didn't really get the better of him at
there was
all.
not one completed dribble. Not one.
That was a lie, eh? I posted the comp. I posted the comp in our group. He dribbled Tonali.
Okay, no, but we're talking about against Lewis.
Oh, against Lewis Hall. Sorry. Yeah, against Lewis Hall. Yeah. No, Hall had him. No, genuinely.
Hall had him in his pocket.
And and what I loved about the performance, as we're jumping from, I guess, actually before we jump to the Champions League, what are your what are you hoping from Newcastle as the season ends? Because where are you guys on this table right now?
I think we're 6 points now behind. I mean, it's so open this league this season. It's probably from third down or
from
fourth
from third to 13th is only 11 points.
Yeah, so a lot, and everyone has to play each other.
Yes.
So look, realistically, I would like to get into fifth again, where we can get back into the Champions League. But realistically speaking, the way we are playing in the league, forget Champions League, forget everything else. We're playing so rubbish in the league besides for last night. If we can continue this momentum, there's no reason why we can't progress through. I know we do have some tough games. I think we still have to go and play you away
at the Emirates.
At the Emirates. I think that's the second or third last game of the season. So we just kind of need to hope that results go our way. I mean, I will be happy even if we get back into Europa. We need Europe again.
You're a club that should be in Europe.
We need Europe again, and this is the thing. And it happened the season before when we were in Champions League. We didn't buy any players. Our depth was so low, and we had a rubbish season.
Yes.
Then again.
Yeah, we just repeated the same thing.
So it will just continue to repeat. So next year, if we're not in Europe again, we'll be playing ball again. Everyone, Newcastle. But then are we just going to continue the cycle the whole time? We need to be consistently. I mean, we got taken over by the Saudis, 4 years ago?
4 years ago.
Yes, we've been to Champions League twice. We've won a trophy. But at the same, and I also want to speak about something. Let me just say, now that I'm speaking about a trophy, maybe it's not you guys, but the other Arsenal fans telling me that the Carabao Cup is a tin pot trophy.
No.
Now all of a
This is
sudden,
the podcast that desperately wants
now
to win
all
the
of a
trophy.
sudden, now all of a sudden, you guys have got the cup final next week.
It's
Oh,
the
I
biggest
can't wait for a
game.
major trophy. I'm like, but last season it was a tin pot.
No. Me, I've never subscribed to that. In fact, I think the devaluing of cup competitions is at the core of why football doesn't feel like football anymore in 2026. Being a kid, I remember I didn't care what it was. If it's at Wembley, it's a big deal. Some of the biggest memories, Drogba, yes, like against Man United, then the goals against Tottenham and the one against Liverpool, like it is never, not the last happy memory, but FA Cup
moment of
final,
triumph was against
2005, 2005 FA Cup final. That's one of because my dad, that guy did me dirty. So we were supporting Arsenal together and he put me on, obviously. And then 04, 05, Mourinho brought Drogba. And my dad just loves African players. So he said, dude, I'm gone.
I'm done.
I'm gone. So then they won the league and he was there celebrating in front of me. And I was crying. And then the following weekend, Vieira scores the winning pen against United in front of all my siblings and cousins. Euphoric experience for me. Ingrained, I was 7, ingrained in my memory. So I've never subscribed to that. I think that is at the roots, whether not just in England, in Spain, Germany, even here in SA, like the cup competitions, it's the greatest equalizer of football. It doesn't matter in theory at least, or in practice at least, squad depth, better players.
Yeah.
It's one game of football. Whoever performs best wins the game, wins the
At the
title.
end of the day, a trophy is a trophy, and it's hard to get through. I mean, we battled out the 2 legs. You were in the semi-final.
Yes,
And it wasn't.
that was sad.
Listen. We played. That was probably one of the best we've ever
You've
played.
played,
I'll
yeah.
never forget. I was on holiday, bro, and I was just living my best life.
Yeah.
And I wanted to message you. I was like, this guy's gonna hate me, and he already hated me because Arteta was blaming balls, and I don't know what that man was going on about. but the reality is I'm to answer your question, I'll be happy if Newcastle finish in the top 7. Or is top 7 now Europe? Or
Top 8.
Top 8.
But if you want Europa, I think 6.
6 or
6
7.
or 7 is Europa.
I'll be happy if if we go and win all the rest of our games and we finish top 5, then great. But realistically speaking, I think we'd be aiming for that top 8, top 7, just so that we can continue the European form.
Before we move away from Newcastle, how do you feel about Eddie Howe as your guys' long-term coach?
This guy doesn't like him, bro.
The thing is that he has these moments. Like I said to you this year, I'm not oblivious to what he's achieved. I mean, he's a good coach. I mean, look at how he identified Joe Linton not being a number 9 and brought him into the midfield.
That's pure coaching.
That's just pure coaching.
Understanding,
And he's gone toe to toe with the best coaches in the world. And
he's got huge wins under his CV.
PSG hasn't beat us.
Yeah.
They never beat us.
Yeah.
And we play phenomenally against them.
It's like us with Madrid,
Then PSG. Declan Rice's free kick.
Right.
Then you've got the tactic. The only thing I fault Eddie Howe with is that it's this season, and I spoke to you about this recently, is that the substitutions are so predictable. So it seems as though he goes to a game with the mindset of how the game is, but he doesn't adapt to what the game. So if Chelsea now have matched our counter attacking football, he won't change the system, and that's where we've been caught out quite a lot this season. And I think we were caught out against Man City in the Carabao Cup?
FA Cup.
FA. Yes, yeah.
The Carabao Cup, the 2 legs.
You played them in both, Carabao and FA Cup.
There was a thing, if we had played them, if they were on this side of the Champions League draw, there was a chance that we'd played them 7 times this season. We played them 5 times already this season. But to answer your question, for the time being, yes. I mean, he is still young in a sense. I mean, he's 41, 42.
Oh, yo.
I mean, he came straight out of playing football.
Coached Burnley, coached Bournemouth, and then
he took Bournemouth from League 2 all the way up to the Prem. And then I don't know, and then now they established Premier League, and then Bournemouth said, "Sorry, bro, you got to go."
Weird dismissal. I know the form wasn't great, but weird dismissal.
I think it was one of those where you kind of feel like you've done as much as you can at the moment in time. I think it's like similar to Daesh leaving Burnley.
Yeah.
It's like you're going to find a better coach, but it does feel that point where it's just like
the next
But
thing.
to go on to your question is like, I don't know what world-class managers are available to come and take that job.
I think, and we've spoken about this when it comes to playing for Newcastle. Coaching Newcastle, you need a certain DNA.
So you think it's similar to United thing, where you can't just come in as a
I think that
tactical.
I think that United thing is a myth, and I wish Tabani was here, and I just saw his eyes. He looked up, but I think that whole thing of you need to be a certain type of coach to manage United is less important, because United prioritize winning above all else, right? And historically, you're given the tools to win. You have to grind to manage this club. It's a blue collar city, right? The fans there. Of course, winning is important, but they want to see. I believe, and this is why I've said this since we're young, I've always had such a strong admiration for Newcastle, because it's the last remnants, in my opinion, of true British football, right? It's about how much desire is on the pitch, right? To sound like Roy Keane on the overlap. How much desire? How much passion do you put in? This is one of the few leagues where if Newcastle are down 2-0 and there's a crunching tackle, they're clapping, they're applauding. So I think as a coach, you have to almost be unhinged in the sense that your mind, yes, it's about winning in the bigger picture, but it's also about how you represent yourself on the field, right? And there are not many coaches that subscribe
not enough hard-nosed coaches.
Yeah, there's the Simeones.
I don't think there's tons of options to replace Eddie Howe. I just do think knowing how good Newcastle can potentially be, right? Because I think we're aligned in thinking that if Newcastle play one game a week, you think they're finishing top 6, no questions asked.
Yeah.
To be that close to it all the time and to stumble in the same way multiple times, to me it feels like Eddie Howe has reached his ceiling.
Yeah.
He's already won the big trophy he's going to win for them.
Which was
he's
huge.
gotten them top 4 more than once.
Yes.
He's played and they've had the big European nights. As much as I've complained about him in the long term, I do think it's because I just feel like they are close to needing something new. It might be similar to Simeone at Atletico Madrid, where it's like when a club fits a manager that well, it's like you don't change that.
But that's the problem that we might find ourselves in, is that same with Simeone at Atletico Madrid, is that they won't change it. But the thing is he's also kind of reached his ceiling. He's not taking, the club also has their own sort of problems, that they're not like a Madrid and a Barcelona in that sense. But Newcastle, for Eddie Howe to I don't know what the next thing would be for him to do to achieve in order for us to be like, okay, cool.
We need him to continue. Exactly.
And the thing is, I think he's bought himself a lot of time now with winning the Carabao Cup. I mean, now you've given the club, the people in Newcastle, a trophy after 70 years. It was massive. I mean, my dad was crying. Everyone, like, it's a big deal.
Yeah, no, I agree.
My parents were actually, my dad and my brother were at Wembley when it happened. They were going mad. And for me, I think what I actually would have liked, if we were to push through to the next thing, it needs to be someone, like you said, who understands the culture of Newcastle. And this is a wild take, and the one person that I do think would succeed at us would be Jose Mourinho.
He would.
Jose was
this iteration of Mourinho.
So Jose, but the thing is
I think it's Ange.
Nah. So the reason why I say Jose
is always better than seasons.
Jose is a Bobby Robson product.
Yes.
Sir Bobby Robson, Newcastle legend, and he always talks fondly about how much he taught him, and he always loves going up to Newcastle, and he always calls himself a little magpie or whatever the case may be. And I think he understands the culture of what Newcastle demands because he worked with Bobby Robson for 3-4 years at Barca and at Porto. So that would be someone who comes in to take over that job. Yeah, but I get what you're saying. It's difficult for me because I don't know who would. I mean, you could put anyone in that job and they might succeed and they might dismally fail.
Yeah, it's kind of in a balance.
It's risky.
It's risky. And on time, but like Newcastle and West Ham, to me, those are the two. Newcastle's not really underperforming now, but if you look at the last 20 years, I think those are the two most underperforming clubs in England. Because those two, there's no reason those two clubs specifically, when you look at the fan base, the history, the stadiums, that they aren't competing with,
they should be top. They should be a big 8.
Hands
really.
down. There's no way a Premier League season should end in West Ham and Newcastle are not in the top 8.
Mike Ashley killed us, obviously, the previous owner. We were top 4 consistently. The entertainers was when Kevin Keegan was in charge. You had Les Ferdinand and Alan Shearer. You had Tino Asprilla on the wing, David Ginola. I'm talking about 90s football now. But we were top 4 consistently, second, third. I mean, there was that one season when Kevin Keegan was going crazy at Ferguson, saying, "I'll love it if I beat them."
But iconic.
And we lost that. We actually lost the league being 9 points clear, just by the way.
Oh.
No, don't bring that here. That's your business. Don't keep your history.
So from there, we had that we had the takeover Mike Ashley, and from it just shows how a bad ownership can absolutely suck the life out of a club.
We actually forgot to talk about the whole beef going on with Laporta. But real.
And that's basically the bottom line. I think we are in a good, I mean, the Saudis are, look, whatever they do outside of football, it's none of my business. But the reality is these guys are here and they're here they've got a plan with Newcastle, and that's great. I mean, we obviously, PSR, we can't spend as much as we would love to. I mean, we're
gonna get to that.
Technically the richest club in the world, we can't spend. But we are putting money into things that we can, like we're going to build a new stadium.
Upgrading some changes, or just
I'm not happy about
new stadium.
Leaving some changes.
Yeah.
I'm not. There's a lot of people who aren't happy, but the reality is Newcastle, we can't extend it. We can't expand it because there's council houses behind it, and it's heritage sites, or whatever. So 52,000 is what we can host weekly. But now they want to build I think it was a 65 or 70,000 seats stadium. You'll get it. It will be full weekly. And that will just be more beneficial for the club. And now I think they're doing a new training ground, which is also good for the players.
On the topic of Newcastle just going to the Champions League, obviously at fixtures this week, right? Mvu, your boys are up against Newcastle. First leg, I think we all agree, Newcastle had the upper hand. Yeah, they deserve to win that. Fortunate at the end for Lamine to score that pen. What are your predictions? How do you feel them coming to New Camp? Do you think you guys are going through, or?
I think we will go through, but my feelings are the same as they were before the first game, where for so much of the season, our defense has been so problematic, and teams come play us feeling like they have the chance to win. But that never used to be the case. And that makes a huge difference.
Hated New Camp.
That makes a huge difference. If Newcastle believe that they can win, they'll give you a fight. So, I'll be very disappointed if we don't. I'll be livid if we don't go through, but we should.
Yeah.
Like I'm not gonna act like we shouldn't.
The standards should be the standards. Yeah.
Yeah, but I was worried before the first leg. I'm still worried now. I don't know if Flick will really adapt to what the game needs sometimes, and I think that's been the overall like overriding frustrating thing about him.
What happened to Araujo, What happened?
To be fair, he did get that one massive injury.
What is it, like hamstring?
It was a knee injury.
Knee injury, no?
Yeah. And
hasn't
he wasn't necessarily the most well-rounded defender, but I think he had physical advantages that most defenders didn't have. Like the fact that he could play right back reliably and say, cool, Vinny's not doing anything.
Yeah, and that's when he won me. I became a full-on supporter.
And then after the injury, he hasn't come back to that same level. He's still physically there, but it's not the same.
Not the same, man.
Yeah.
And no, look, I think before I go to Alex to get your prediction, Pedri he's just something else. In that game against Newcastle, he was the only guy, in my opinion, not impeded by what Newcastle were doing with the press and the aggression.
He wasn't impeded, but I do think like they got it. I do think the game will be different in the camp now, though.
New camp, yeah.
So
Alex, you almost feel like when you watch games of the New Camp, the field looks bigger. It probably is bigger, but like it feels like it's massive and it works to
Barca's advantage.
Barca's advantage. So it might be a situation of that we can't press them as hard as we did we did at St James's Park. But I don't think it's over. Realistically, I don't think a lot of people like we spoke about pundits and everyone aren't expecting us to go through, which I think might work to our advantage again. Barca, it's Barcelona.
Right.
At the end of the day, it doesn't matter what form Barca are in. When you go into the new camp, you're playing Barca. You need to be at the best of your abilities, and I think it will be a tight, close game. Yeah. My prediction is 1-1 again.
Yeah, penalties.
Newcastle winning penalties.
Yeah, I agree. I was going to say that. I think that's the case. Khanya, I want to go to you. You're going to close for us. City, Madrid, second leg. Chelsea, PSG.
Madrid go through, PSG go through.
You don't see any shots coming. No. Just clear, straightforward. Done it. Yeah. So then I guess with Arsenal, I thought I'm going to get more for you to close. With Arsenal, how are you feeling?
I'm actually very nervous about that game.
About
especially because for those who don't know, Bayern and Leverkusen actually drew yesterday 1-1.
And you told me they bowled. Leverkusen were going crazy.
But obviously Bayern did have 2 red cards, so massively in Leverkusen's favor. But Leverkusen showed up. I think that they are properly up for it for this specific game. It's a big chance for them to, I guess, stake their claim as a serious side again.
Yeah.
I don't think you can ignore the fact that for the most part in the second half they nullified us. We were lucky to get that.
Very lucky.
I still expect us to win. I'd like to think that you don't go from having the kind of euphoria that we've just had. Typically, yes.
If there's one team that can, it's us.
Typically, yes, but I'd like to think that we're able to carry that momentum forward. Yeah. And I think the same thing goes for City. I don't know how they put themselves up from the 3-0 loss. Then you draw against West Ham. And then you need to entertain Madrid, who are flying
right now. Yesterday one against Elche.
It's at the Etihad now though, isn't it?
It does it yet.
So that's their only little glimmer of hope.
If they can pack it, if they can actually get people in the stadium, it may be good. But no, I want to say,
no, they've been closing sections now, so it looks like it's full. You're not seeing that one section at the top is empty.
This club is so around, dude. Yeah. No, I was gonna say the only I'm nervous and I expect us to go through, but I think there's a chance we don't, and it's because when you're going for it all, you typically stumble somewhere. And my fear is it could be against Leverkusen because I'm very confident coming in this Saturday against City. I really am. FA Cup, I also think we have a good, Chelsea, we could play them in the next round. Yeah. Maybe they'll get us after losing 11 games in a row, but not winning, 11 games in a row. But there's something off. Although Daumann doing what Daumann did, gives me hope.
Would you be happy to sacrifice the Champions League in order to win
a cup treble?
Not against Leverkusen. Yes, but not against Leverkusen. If we lost in the next round, then we can't
against Klimt or Sporting. That's not any better.
No, it's going to be Klimt. Klimt is playing ball though, hey?
Yeah, they are, but Oaks.
Okay, but I think that's our time, guys. A wonderful episode, Alex. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Of course, first white guy in D&D history.
Shout out XP Arena.
Shout out XP Arena. Please pull up. We're definitely going to link it on our page when we post the episode. And as always, keep debating. We'll see you guys at the next one.